Hello again, humankind. We're back on Corruption Incorporated. My name's Ionicles, and I'm broadcasting to you once again today from the cloud. Little bit of a long day today. Had to go to court again for my big case that I'm fighting against Coldwell Banker and Compass Realties. Had to respond to a motion. Anyway, I'll get into that later, but what I wanted to talk about today was, I believe most of us are naturally sensitive people. I believe more of us struggle with this than we might let on. Apparently, first opinion ever given about me to anyone outside my family by my mother was about how sensitive I am. She was asked by a close friend, what's your son like? And her response was, he's so sensitive. So I had told myself at the beginning of this that I wasn't going to look at the comments on any of these videos, but the other day I happened to glance at one, and someone has dropped the hate mic on my channel, but I'm grateful to this person, and I responded and said, thank you. Or maybe I didn't say thank you, but I said your negative remark is welcome, and I would like to say thank you. Person's going by the name Vinny something. So thank you, Vinny. Thanks for watching. You're more than welcome to tell your friends. You can come on here and drop the hate mic as often as you like. I may not read all your comments, but I'm grateful to you because you reminded me of something that I wanted to talk about at the beginning of this, and I forgot. And that is, why would you listen to me? Who am I? Well, other than being a born American citizen, I was born in North Carolina in the 80s. I've spent most of my adult life now in some degree of study and contemplation, and a lot of it has been geared towards trying to figure out, how are we going to fix this so obviously dysfunctional, broken society we're mired in right now? What are we going to do? How can we actually address this? It's a tough kind of nut to know where to take the first crack at it. It really is tough, and a lot of us, I think, we really don't. We got our hands kind of, up in the air or scratching our heads like, what are we going to do? And a lot of the time we do nothing. What Vinny has said is something like, this is obviously someone who's been driven, he said, as in like to a destination, too crazy. And said this is someone obviously without a partner, like a relationship of any kind, and how sad to see something like, how sad to see people poisoning our world or something. I'm like, okay, but Vinny, the whole point of this channel is that I'm doing this alone. And it's kind of silly to assess a person's net worth based on your speculation of their relationship status. It's amazing to me. I think people sometimes don't realize how much they end up projecting stuff that might be true about them in their own lives onto somebody else, and latching onto this one negative thing and then dismissing the whole thing. You are welcome here. Your comments are welcome. It's okay. I'm trying to help. One of the founding ideas of this country not only is that we're all equal, but that, hey, one person could say, hey, I think I can help. Step up. Lead in some capacity. Criticism is part of the territory. It's easy to sit on a couch or in a lazy boy or recliner somewhere and launch verbal invectives at people on here or on the platform formerly known as Twitter. So who am I? I've put probably 1 million words on paper with pen and ink outside of what was required for school, trying to sort this out. I'm an accomplished poet. I'm very close to being ready to publish my first book. I also write short stories and science fiction. But I've kind of sidelined all that. For the last 7 years, I've been fighting corruption in our country. I can't talk about a lot of what I've done. I think I've referenced this earlier, but I was involved in helping organize what I understand now is one of, if not the largest labor demonstration in human history. On May 8th, 2019, centered in Los Angeles, went a global strike. A little grassroots union I had joined in Los Angeles called for. And I've been trying to help. And it may not come to anything. It may not. I have a close friend said to me recently, I don't think this big case is maybe going to amount to as much as you think it's going to. And I immediately said, you're probably right. It could be chaff in the wind. But I respectfully submit to all of you that that's not a reason not to try. And I want to talk about one more little thing here today before I wrap this video up. Try to keep these as short as I can. We hold our founding fathers in this nation up, in hindsight, as champions of democratic ideas, free speech, a better way than an absolute monarchy, which was in vogue for hundreds and hundreds of years. You could have a really good king, a really bad king, and there were decades of tyranny and oppression. The original American stance is standing together against tyranny and oppression. And a lot of the time it starts with one person or a small group of people having an idea, a little crazy idea, like a little poco loco idea. What we don't hear about much, I don't hear people talking about much, is the founding fathers of this country must have had serious pushback in the 1770s and earlier, when they were being dragged all over the place to meet with the representatives of the English king, and then they weren't even showing up, stuff like you read about if you study American history. There must have been friends, even family, saying to them, you guys are crazy standing up to the English king. It's going to be our kids' blood running in the streets. But somehow they knew better. They knew there's got to be a better way. We're getting taxed. We don't have any representation. We're not being treated fairly here. We can't even get our feet under us here. They're taking whatever they want. Well, I think I figured out a way to really start to address the abysmal situation in the United States, this gulf of a wealth inequality gap that keeps on growing. Our country is set up right now as a factory for white-collar criminals. We're basically rolling them out like they're on an assembly line because our society is teaching people, especially younger people, that immoral behavior is being rewarded. So long as you have enough money for a lawyer, or you've sold your integrity, the last inch of who you are, to one of these big companies, and their lawyers will their company will stand behind you because you're making money for them, like these three realtors from Coldwell Banker and Compass, standing beside them instead of cross-claiming their damages against them and making examples of them. I'm appalled that they're standing beside them, but they are so far. Got a whole team of lawyers. I think it's at least 4. It might be 5 lawyers that I'm up against right now. And their whole team of paralegals and everything like that. But anyway, to the point about our founding fathers, there were people called loyalists who were pushing back against this idea. And you know why we don't hear about them very much? Because they didn't go home after the Revolutionary War and write a book about how I was an idiot a few years ago. We don't hear about it because they went home and they didn't really talk much about how they weren't promoting this new idea that we're all equal and that one person can stand up and say, you know what, maybe I could help. So people like Vinny, hey, you're more than welcome here. Peace and love to you. I'm going to keep going. I may not read all your comments because we got to keep the momentum and the forward motion going, but it's better to try to do something, or to do something, even if it doesn't come to anything, than it is to to just sit there and watch the world fall apart and wonder, why is this happening? Who's to blame? I say we're all to blame, because a lot of us are looking the other way. I'm not looking the other way anymore. No matter what happens with these two big battles I'm fighting right now against 3 multi-billion-dollar companies all at once, it's about standing up and saying, not on my watch. Not on my watch, buddy. You're not going to get away with that. This is un-American. So you stay tuned, keep watching. I think I got some ideas about how we can actually start to help each other and help make things a little bit more fair. Allow people who don't have as much money, whether you are a blue-collar worker or just a poet like me, or an actor or something like that, or a creative writer or a painter, have a better chance at justice and being treated fairly, rather than being financially discriminated against the way that I allege I have been in the last couple of years by some bad actors among us. I would say that there are not many brighter tomorrows where we don't start to make examples of the bad actors among us and try to shine a light on some shadows in the world and hope that they go away sooner rather than later, so that other people don't have to go through stuff like I know other people like me are going through. That's all for today, but we'll be back soon. Keep watching. Thank you for watching, and hope you all have a nice, peaceful, restful evening. And happy Halloween. It's coming up quick. Okay, take care, and we'll see you again soon.